I had this event on my calendar for 12. I thought I was early. Jacob called me and said, "Where are you?" So I'm asking all of you to not tell my mother that I was late for this event. I know we can keep that between us. I'm glad to be here. You know, I brag about our new city council and our mayor regularly down in Montgomery. I want you guys to know that. I'm bragging on you regularly. And I know the future for Alex City is bright. I enjoy playing a small role in that effort in Montgomery. I'm in my second term. I think everybody in here knows me. I'm in my second term. I don't say this in a negative way. I have 2 sessions left. We're right in the middle of number 7. And, well, not in the middle, we just started 2 weeks ago. Feels like we're in the middle of it. But some issues that we're going to see and that we're dealing with in Montgomery are always the budgets. The education budget is in pretty good shape. We have 90 million over and above what we had last year. Now that's a $6.5 billion budget. 90 million is not a lot of money. That's a weird thing to say, I know, but that's not a lot of money. And that is split between K-12 and higher ed. Normally K-12 gets 70% of that number. So we're now down to 54 million in K-12 and whatever the balance is for higher ed. PEP, which is teacher insurance, has already asked us for, I think, another 20 million, 22 million over and above last year that we will fund on our side of the equation. And RSA has asked for some additional money as well. So that 54 million is just about gone. Just trying to cover benefits. Well, everything's, I think, gonna be level funded. Everything is in decent shape. But once we fund those additional benefit requests, there's gonna be very little money left in the education budget. For some reason, we haven't figured out exactly why. Some of you guys may have some thoughts on this, but September, our estimates didn't roll in as well as we thought they would in 16 revenue projections. And our estimates are very conservative. We don't know exactly what happened. We've not figured that out yet. But September, things really fell off in regard to revenue. So we didn't close out the 16 budget with a whole lot of rollover that we had thought we would have. So 17 is actually, things are kind of tight and we don't know exactly why, statewide. So we're very cautious on the education budget. It's decent. The general fund budget is a whole other matter. The general fund, I know you guys are well aware of the issues in the general fund, I think, with prisons. We have an issue with prisons. We have an $800 million bond issue that's out there that will take $1.5 billion to pay off over a 30-year period. The idea is to build 4 prisons, one of them being a female prison. And the director of corrections has told us that he can fund it with existing revenue. It would take about $50 million a year to service that debt, and he is telling us that he can fund that with existing revenue. We're all kind of waiting to see more of that math because we are not convinced of that. But if you've been in the prison lately, it would be hard to say that we don't need to address the prison issue in this state. It's not just an overcrowding issue, it's a mental health issue, it is a rehabilitation issue. It's very deep, very complicated. Not much of that is being done currently. It's not a safe place to live. It's not a safe place to be a prisoner. It's not a safe place to work. It's not a safe place to be an administrator. It's very complicated. So the prison issue is in front of us. I was told, I chair the state government committee and I serve on education, ways and means. I was told last week that the prison bill will probably come to my committee. So I try to stay kind of under the radar down there, but I think that's fixing to change. That bill hits my committee. But we'll deal with it. And one thing I will tell you guys, and I try to say it everywhere I go, there's a lot of good people in Montgomery. We are fortunate to have Clyde Chambliss representing a piece of Tallahassee County, and Tom Watley as the other side in the Senate. And those guys have done everything I've ever asked them to do. Clyde and I stood right next to each other in the Senate last year, and we passed, I think, 4 local bills within the last 5 minutes of the session. And Clyde was right there, keeping things on schedule, and Tom was as well. So I believe Tallapoosa County is blessed in the Senate. Y'all can figure out if you're blessed in the House or not. So prison bill's in front of us, Medicaid is in front of us. We took some of the money from the BP settlement last year and called J.G. Wentworth and sold the debt. So we could take that cash and put it in hand, and we did a lot of good things with it. We paid off $500 million of debt, right between $400 and $500 million of debt that the general fund owed the Alabama Trust Fund. So when you obviously pay off that debt, you put money in the corpus, it starts generating interest, the interest feeds into the general fund. So we tried to accomplish two things with that effort. And that has been successful. That paying off that debt will generate between $35 and $50 million of interest for the general fund, trying to solve issues in the general fund. So we did that, and we left about $105 million in the bank to help us with the Medicaid ask for 2018. And I think we're still about 45 million short. That math seems to change every day. We thought we were 65 million short, so somebody found 20 million, so now we're 45 million short. We're getting better, we're getting closer. I know the value of Medicaid to Russell Medical Center. I know how it works. I've been to lunch and dinner with those guys, and they have explained it to me thoroughly. And it's a huge deal. I think Medicaid is a $5 billion business statewide, and it basically just helps me cash flow. I think I may be wrong about that. It's a big part of cash flow and keeping things running and operating. So I see the value of Medicaid. I support Medicaid. I have supported Medicaid in the past. I'll support their ask. Sometimes it's just hard to get there. It's always hard to get there. I voted for 5 tax increases 2 sessions ago. 2 of them failed in the Senate, which left $25 million on the table of recurring revenue. But that's how the system works. But I voted for 5 tax increases and only had 1 negative comment made to me, and that was from a new person in my district from Chilton County. Nobody that knows me said 1 negative word about those 5 votes. So I tell people, I didn't sign a suicide pact when I went to Montgomery. If we need revenue, and I know we need revenue, I'll take it on the chin. I'll do what needs to be done, and I have done that. So those are some of the issues. The gas tax, Commissioner mentioned the gas tax. There's a proposal for a 3 cents a gallon gas tax to feed into the state road and bridge fund, and a 3 cents a gallon gas tax to feed into the cities and the counties. I don't know the number, but I have multiples of bridges that school buses cannot cross in Tallapoosa County. I have multiples of bridges that log trucks cannot cross. And if you think about that, the logger's not being hurt in that, the landowner's being hurt, because the landowner's not going to get top dollar for their timber or their agriculture product. If the logger's going around the bridge 30 miles round trip, he's not gonna pay for that. The landowner's gonna pay for it in regard for less money for their timber. So it's a deep issue, it's complicated, and I think it's gonna get a fair look this year, that issue. And I'm gonna lean towards supporting it. I've done the math. I do about 30,000 miles a year in my vehicle, and it's gonna cost me about $12 a month. $12 a month, less than $100 a year. We haven't raised the gas tax since 1992. Fuel mileage has gone through the roof. You pay so much a gallon, you don't pay a percentage of the sale, so you can imagine with fuel mileage going up per vehicle, that the dollars available for road and bridges is about 1972, equivalent to $1972. So there are opportunities that we are missing. There are federal dollars that we are not able to draw down because of not enough money in our road and bridge fund. I think that's about all I had. Road, bridge, Medicaid, prisons. I think that's all I got. I'm gonna hang around for questions, but I want y'all to know that, I'm gonna say it one more time, that we are blessed to have Clyde Chambliss and Tom Walton in the Senate. And I just want y'all to know that. We make a lot of mistakes in Montgomery. We don't make as many as we used to, but I'll own up to my mistakes, and I'll try not to make them again, and I'll try to